Hello everyone, this is Colin on the ASCA League channel, and here we are for the Pennzoil Pro Series. This week we come to Talladega for race 9 of the season. We are past halfway in the first part of the season, and we are getting ready to go into that chased season. But for now, we are working towards seeing which 20 drivers will make the chase. Here is the point standings leading up to this race. Jay Durrell is on the top of the board when it comes to points. Jay Barker is in second. You saw the rest of the field there. 20th position out are not locked into the championship. Remember that. So you got to start thinking early, as we are already halfway through the season. Points come down to the wire. Here's the starting lineup. Webster Zygarde and Derek Petrie made up the front row. Row 2, Jay Durrell and Eric Willis. Row 3, Zach Komoski looking for a good finish here today, and Rick Witt, last week's winner. Row 4, Cody Russell and Jack Newman, two Chevrolets. Row 5, Michael Jones and Daniel Voiles, winner at Daytona earlier this year. Row 6, Kyle Singer and Kyle Collins make up that row. Row 7 has Jay Barker, Atlanta winner, and Jesse Dalton in the 09. Row 8, Brian Boone, two-time winner this season, and Nick Purcell's last year's Martinsville winner, looking for some more success. Row 9, Dion Scott and Ryan Dunn, Daytona winner of Season 1. Row 10, Aaron Lukes and Cesar Chavez, this year's Martinsville winner. Row 11, Brian Lenning, who's expressed he needs a good run here today, and Nikita Riskov also looking for another good result. Row 12, Sam Rogers is going to try to vanquish his slide down the points, and Matthew Brown. Row 13, Addison Steinbeck and Ryan Kendall. Row 14, Arsha Saint also looking to stop his slide down the points, and Zach Cars. Row 15, Nicholas Samudio and Stuart Grattan making his first super speedway start. Row 16, Blaine Keys in the 60 car and Tony Green in the 44. Row 17 has John Gilbert and Brock McMahon for Tanker Motorsports. Row 18, Daniel Maxwell and Joseph Strigley looking to get his season back on track after a couple penalties. Row 19, Jose Vaquez and Carson Scott coming back to a type of track that he did very well on early in the year. Row 20, Allison Davidson and James Johnson. On the final row, Haley Wish and Jeremy Jones, both who ran the Copper Amateur Series race last week. Here are the people who did not qualify, and we are about to get set and go racing here at Talladega. The second super speedway of the year. Green flag is about to get pulled out, and here we go. Green flag is in the air now, and we are racing for 47 laps at the super speedway. No help for Derek Petrie on the outside as he starts to slip back. Durrell underneath him, Zach Komoski in the 88 car. They are going past Durrell, and currently Zygarde trying to fend off the 88 car. Durrell going to fade to the outside, and Komoski is going to come on through. Cody Russell helping pushing him, and behind him, Michael Jones in the 47 car. Looks like Zygarde will have the advantage though coming through the corners. Zach Komoski going to try to make a move. And Cody Russell, Webster's teammate, is going to abandon him, and he is going to help Zach Komoski. You may want to help your teammates here, but if it's for you getting the win, I'm sure you'd rather go for the win. However, it's a little early to be thinking about that so far. Nick Purcell, as we see here, we're going to ride on board him in the middle, and you can see how hectic it is here at the super speedways as they're going full throttle through these corners. See Arsha Saint. A lot of Chevys up here at the front currently. Nick Purcell seems to be the only Toyota other than Zach Komoski up front. I actually see Sam Rogers, a couple national racing cars as well, the 9 and the 2 in front of him. I believe I also saw the 5 up there in front as well. And then there's Webster Zygarde again trying to go back to the front, diving underneath Sam Rogers. And there goes the 5 of Arsha Saint. However, problems for the 03 car as Cesar Chavez will have something wrong with the motor. It didn't sound right. They're going to bring his car down pit road and see what's the issue. Brian Lenning will result with the lead after 4 laps. And we see Webster Zygarde trying to get back to the front yet again and try to lead a lap. Behind him, you see Dion Scott and Jay Barker battling. Dion Scott had the points lead because of a good finish at Daytona earlier in the year. And Jay Barker had the points lead after race 2 because of a win at Atlanta. So both these drivers had very good starts to the season. Jay still keeping it up. However, Dion Scott has slipped outside the top 20, looking for a good result here to help push him back up the standings. But as far as the front is concerned, we see Webster Zagard making a move underneath Brian Lenning. The Hershey Chevrolet has been looking for some success, and getting a lap lead right there is definitely going to help him out. Zagard's going to fall in line, and Michael Jones is going to fall in behind him. And the Bad Dad Racing cars, you can tell who they are because they have those patriotic-style paint schemes. Michael Jones running that scheme for the first time, whereas Brian Boone, who runs a very reminiscent of his Season 1 and Season 2 scheme, behind in the pack, you can see him running that one as the two teammates are running the same design that has been used on Brian Boone's car for a while. Here's Rick Witt as he'll make his way up to 5th place. Now Witt got a win last week, and that was a huge morale boost for that team. He has Wheelie Motors back on the car for this race. However, Witt just looking for some more as he got pushed up in the top 20. However, he needs just a little bit more to try to help secure himself in the chase. Obviously, no one's secured yet, but just getting himself a little bit higher in the points so that if disaster does strike, he won't take too big of a hit in the points. Currently running 5th is not a bad place to be. However, as we see some cars are falling off the grid, we see Nicholas Zamudio and Tony Green way in the back, as well as some other drivers falling off. Brock McMahon and Carson Scott, who ran so well here at Daytona earlier in the season. I'm going to get here as Talladega and there as Daytona mixed up a lot through this video. But Daniel Maxwell in the 4 car, you see him also falling off. A couple back markers is what I'd call them. However, we've seen that these guys can show speed, so they want to try to pick it up if they want to have a good result at the end of the race. Or at least hope for a caution so they can catch back up with the field. We see Arsh Hussain. Hussain was desperately just pleading for a good race in qualifying, and he had a pretty good qualifying spot. However, he's fallen back through the field a little bit. As we see, the field is actually kind of spreading out a bit, so the question of a wreck is actually becoming a little vague, and we're not sure if we're going to get one anymore with such a spread out pack, especially with pit stops coming. However, some guys that are alright with no pit stops coming is the 96, 16, and 99 crew back here. These guys actually voted to go to the back of the field, and while Ryan Dunn didn't have any acquaintances, the 16 and the 99 being teammates decided to go back together and try to wait it out. However, I believe these guys may have gotten a little too carried away when trying to save at the back, because they have actually fallen off the field. You see them making a move underneath Ryan Dunn there. But as we see, Brian Lenning, these guys are going the opposite direction of those three. Look at that gap. If you tuned in right now, you would think these guys probably had a problem earlier in the race, and they are just trying to stay ahead of the front group. However, that's not the case. These three have teamed up and have pulled away from the field in spectacular fashion, and it is incredible to see these guys race because they are posting laps just as quick as the big pack behind them. It's been very disorganized, and ever since the front three lost Zach Komaski, that field behind them has not been able to make progress on the front three. But we see Michael Jones actually pulling off the field, and this is a scheduled pit stop to start green flag pit stops. As we see cars coming off, it looks like Jay Barker will lead the field, as well as Michael Jones, Matthew Brown, the 21 car, and then John Gilbert in the 04 is behind him. However, as you see in the top of the board, the 22, 47, and 12 pair have all rocketed their way back up to the front of the board. And talk about dominance so far, as they still keep a pretty impeding lead on the rest of the field. As we see, Michael Jones, however, hitting one lap early, actually got him in front of the 12 car, who now resides in 3rd place. Brian Lenning, this is exactly the run he needs, though, because he is outside the top 28 points right now, so looking to make his way back into the hunt and try to contend for a second chase running. And if he's outside the top 20, that's not going to happen, so a good race here will definitely help his efforts. We talk about Stuart Grant making his first super speedway race. Well, he probably would have made the Daytona race if he didn't have other issues getting in the way. He had life problems, and he opted to opt out of the Daytona race. He's back here at Talladega, though, with high hopes for a good finish. Currently running in the 2nd highest pack and doing very well. However, Jay Durrell, this is not what he needs. The points leader with 47-point lead. he is running in the back along with some back markers, and currently that's not what he wants to see, because he wants to keep that points lead going, and he wants to make it incredibly hard for the rest of the people to catch him. We're looking at Haley Wish here in the KFC Dodge. Ran last week at the Copperhead Amateur Series race here at Talladega. However, today is not going to go over so well for Haley, as she is going to have a bit of an issue. Not sure, but Haley will continue after this, as they got it fixed on pit road pretty quickly. We see Brian Lenning actually passing the lap car of Tony Green. However, we see the field is actually halfway through the race, and the midway race report is actually showing it on the right side of the screen. And currently Wish, you see, off the track. However, she is getting back on the track at the moment. So Lenning currently still holding the lead over the rest of the field in dominating fashion. Looking at Dion Scott here in the 51 car. He's running 12th right now. We talked about him leading the points at one point. However, he slipped outside the top 20. He needs a good finish, and this is exactly what he's going to get if he continues to run in this spot. He's inside the top 10, with Eric Willis sitting right behind him in the 26 car. Both of those drivers were actually on top of the points board at one point. However, Eric Willis doing a little bit better than what Dion did. Webster Zygarde will lead the field this time down for pit stops. However, as we see after pit stops, the field looking very strong again. All the three cars pairing back up and running single file. They must have come up with a formation before the race. However, I believe Webster Zygarde wants that second spot back, trying to fit underneath the 47 car. It's not like it's going to make a difference since they had such a huge lead to begin with. However, these guys aren't the leaders yet, as the field still hasn't cycled around yet for green flag pit stops. And R. Chastain currently holds the lead. We see Derek Petrie back here running a pretty standard... Oh, caution out on the track. Ooh, and this could be problematic. I believe it's in turn 3, but this could be problematic for our 3 leaders, as they were not the leaders at the line. Oh boy, we'll have to see where everything shuffles out, as this will happen within green flag pit stops. Kyle Singer coming on the track. He is going to get hooked into the wall, and that was John Gilbert in the 04 who just hooked him, and another car is going to run into him. I believe that was Zach Komaski. He was coming off after a pit road speeding penalty. He was already a lap down at the time, and that's not going to make anything better here. We see John Gilbert. Yeah, it's going to be Gilbert turning down. I thought that maybe Kyle Singer came up a little bit into Gilbert, but yeah, that definitely was Gilbert coming down into Singer now. I'm not sure if we're going to expect a penalty there or not, but that looked pretty blatant if you ask me. A little bit of brain fade by the 04 car. However, we're going to watch Zach Komaski coming down the track. He looks like he committed to go back down to the bottom, and at the last minute tried to go up. You can't really do that with 33-degree banking, and that is not going to work out for Komaski. Komaski is out. We're looking at Haley Wish. Now, Haley is not a lap down yet, but she's not the leader either. Haley is actually on the tail end of the lead lap. These guys are caught off guard by the pit stops, and they are currently resting in front of the new leader, Arsh Hossain, in the 9 car back there, the Kurt Chevy. And Hossain, we talked about him wanting a good finish. Well, look at the field he has behind him. Those are all lap cars. The 62, the 08, the 44 car. Those cars are all lap cars. The second place car is Jay Barker in the 2, and third place is Matthew Brown in the 21. And now as we see the restart, we are under 10 laps to go, and we will see if Arsh Hossain has enough time and enough strength to hold off everyone behind them. Maybe team up with some of these guys who got caught out by the caution. Maybe pull away like we saw Brian Lenning, Michael Jones, and Webster Zygarde do. Arsh Hossain not really getting a good draft here, and he's actually getting passed pretty quickly. Is there a problem on that car? Very reminiscent of what we saw in the Copperhead Amateur Series. Is he out of gas? I don't know. Is he out of gas? He hit under the caution, so I wouldn't think so. And he's going to get turned. And cars into the wall. Caution is out. And a huge wreck on the backstretch. Looks like Jack Newman's going to be involved. Dion Scott, Jose Vaquez, Jesse Dalton, and Dion Scott with more damage. And there goes Dion Scott's day. He had a great day going, and we're going to listen on board the 9 car. Let's see what we hear. And you can hear the engine is just not going full throttle. I don't think that's, yeah, because there's still life in the engine. That's not, he did not run out of fuel compared to last week. And you see, yeah, there goes the 75 car. Just, I mean, the 9 car did all he could to try to get to the inside of the track. However, the 4 and the 75 came up a little too quick, and a little bit of give could have been given there by Daniel Maxwell. We're riding aboard Michael Jones, see what he sees in this. And then smoke and nothing he can do. He's going to get put in the wall pretty hard. And Michael Jones, a dominating car all day long, he is going to have problems and a huge amount of damage and a massive incident coming through turn 3. But Arsha Sane seems like he may have lost his cylinder, is what we're getting word of. Jose Vaquez involved, Jesse Dalton, Brian Boone, and Carson Scott in there. Nick Purcell looks like will squeak through. And after the caution, we will see Jay Barker, who was second and is now in first, take the green flag. We have 6 laps to go, as Barker now leads the field down into turn 1. However, he has the 21 car behind him. That's Matthew Brown in the 21. Brown driving for DW Motorsports, a team that has displayed that they want to win this year, and currently this may be the best shot they have. However, I wouldn't look too far back to find the 22 car of Brian Lenning. He is trying to work with the 08 car, who is a lap down, got caught off guard with those pit stops, and he is going to try to work with him to get to the front. Here's Nikita Rizkov, though. Remember, some of these guys in this field were actually in the back of the pack before cautions, and that caution, how it shuffled the field, it saved those people. We see Daniel Voiles, Nikita Rizkov, Nicholas Samudio did get trapped a lap down. He is not involved in that. But the people who were able to stay on the lead lap definitely got rewarded well, because you see those cars that stayed in the back to avoid the wrecks, they are now at the front and racing for the win. Daniel Maxwell, you see also in that group. He is another example of that. Looks like Nikita's going to get knocked out of the group, but there is still time. 2 laps to go as the 60 car currently leads. Jay Barker, though, is hard charging. Will he make it past the 60? Down the back stretch they go. And Barker looks like he will wait to make his move. Daniel Maxwell and Matthew Brown, teammates, fighting out behind him. No, there they go. There goes Jay Barker making his move at the last minute, and he is going to dive underneath the 60 car. And Barker will take the lead. However, did he do it a little early? We've seen plenty last lap passes for the win. And Blaine Keys is definitely liking the fact that he is second going through this. He's already taking peaks. Final lap, as Barker now has to do everything he can to block the rest of the field. It's almost like it's become a tandem pack here, as the 2 and the 60 are together. The 08 and the 22, the 21 and the 4. Teammates working together. And Brian Lenning trying to get help from the 08 car. He pushed the 08 a little too hard. He's going to get some help from Stuart Gratton, but at the front of the field, the 60 car going to make the same move the 2 did. Blaine Keys down the back stretch, as he is going to make his way to the inside. Jay Barker out of the groove. He is going to fall to second. Brock McMahon is coming, but he is not a factor. He is a lap down. I believe Keys has got this. 3 wide for third. Checkered flag is in the air. Blaine Keys will take his first ever career victory, and Hoffman Motorsports will get their first win of their careers. And congratulations, as we see a Ford go to victory lane, something we haven't seen in a while. And Blaine Keys is going to take his team to victory lane. And it's been a long time coming for Hoffman Motorsports, but they will get it done with victory burnouts. Here are your finishing results, as Keys on top of the board for the first time in his career. Barker will finish as a glum second, however, he cannot complain. How about Jay Durrell? You see him, one of the drivers who fell back. The points leader is going to run away with another good finish here today. We see cars going down the list. Last week's winner, Rick Wood, with a 24th. Very sleepy after running well earlier in the day. And here is the back third of the field. Zach Komoski out, Kyle Singer, John Gilbert, Addison Steinbeck, another bad week for him in the 23 car. And the points only grow for Jay Durrell, as he increases his gap over pretty much everyone except for Jay Barker, who closes in just a bit. And you see that red line right there? That is the cutoff line in the point standings. Nikita and Witt are in. Zach Cards and Jose Viquez are out. Anyways, that's all for now. This is the Pennzoil Pro Series on the ASCA League channel. We are signing out. We'll see you next race, though, at Dover.